Just a month on from the government's bootcamp pilot scheme, the Children's Minister's announced one young person involved has already re-offended. It comes as the price tags revealed for each young person going through the military style.
It's Chhour, she's in charge of this one. You will just love that in this story, she says, but what price can you put on this? When it's revealed how expensive it is. And I'm just like, oh, great. National has said no money is too much for a worthy cause. We can use that for the next 2 years. No money is too much for a worthy cause. That's the standard. Remember, we hold them accountable to their standard that they're about to set into the story. No money is too much for the right cause. That means, therefore, if they're saying there's not enough money in Area X, that means they don't think that's the right cause. Because no money is too much for the right cause. We'll get into it.
Camp. Political editor Mikey Sherman has more.
Children's Minister Chhour believes in boot camps, this Palmerston North facility home to a 3-month pilot program.
They offer support around a young person that's never had that support before.
But today the Minister announced one of the young men who participated in the pilot has re-offended.
It is disappointing, but it would be naive to think that this wasn't going to happen.
She's also naive to think that boot camps are the silver bullet and the answer to youth offending in this country.
10 young men took part in the military-style academy. One pulled out after only 2 weeks.
Already this trial is falling apart. There has not been a successful bootcamp project here or overseas.
One re-offence does not mean that the idea is a bad idea at all. And the reality is, for many Maori in particular, the best thing they've ever had in their life was a chance to join an army.
The pilot wasn't cheap. Under the Official Information Act, One News found the cost was
Can I just say as well, why the fuck do we have to go to the Official Information Act to find out these prices? Is this something the government's doing? They should be upfront with this. I think it's pretty piss poor that basically the media has had to go and do a special little, secret sort of, well, can we have them please? And this should have been upfront. If the government's going to say this is going to work, they should say, and this is how much it's going to cost. I'm a bit pissy about that actually. I just don't think that the media should have to chase to find out these answers, because National's standing by this, so they should tell us all about it.
The pilot wasn't cheap. Under the Official Information Act, One News found the cost was $227,000 per young person. The overall budget, $5.1 million. Add in future military-style academy and young serious offender legislation, and the total budget is $35 million in operating funding and $2 million in capital.
35 million. 35 million. And these are the guys who are worried about $20,000 for a CEO spending it on a Christmas party or a leaving deal. 35 million for something that's not going to work. Not going to work. 35 million. Now let's say this first of all.
Enormous amount of money.
Well, let's say this first of all. 35 million is chicken feed when you come to the entire GDP and what the government does spend. It's chicken feed. But 35 million is not nothing when you think about it's going into something that's not going to work. 35 million not going to work. 1.7 million on a tunnel that's going to go underneath Wellington that's not going to do. 4 million on a treaty clause that's not going to go anywhere. These are the guys that sold themselves as the fiscally responsible ones. And yeah, I just added up about $40 million in the grander scheme of things. That's not a huge amount of money. But the fiscally responsible are the guys that go look after the pennies and the pounds will look after themselves. They're the guys that go, if you can trust us with the small things, you can trust us with the big things. Dude, you're fucking terrible at the small things. Look at how much money you're wasting on things that aren't going to work or aren't going to go through. Chewy.
The whole thing is just so ridiculous. $227,000 per person.
Yep.
Are you telling me with access to that sort of funds that this performative boot camp that every shred of evidence suggests does not, will not, has never worked, that the actual military didn't want any part of, that provides the same sort of circumstances that led to the abuse and state care that they've just had to apologize for, that this was the best use of that money for that young person?
Yeah.
Are you telling me that spending $227,000 to get them to do push-ups in the bush somewhere is the best way to redirect this young person's life. That's the best you can come up with. Nothing else. There's no point in putting that money into a counsellor or a therapist for the complex trauma or family situations that they might be dealing with. There's no reason to put that money into that young person's whānau to help them out. One-on-one tutoring. We can't do that. Nothing. Not a single better idea than this. What an absolute clown show.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work. So it's 10 people. One person's already reoffended.
And one pulled out.
Cool. And Mātua Winston says that the best thing is for Māori is to be in an army. What a fucking clown.
Okay, we're going to keep going.
He just wants to go back to compulsory military service because that was good for his generation of 1883 when they left the country to go and fight the Boer.
This is the part where now Karen Chhour says the quiet part out loud when she says, if it's worth doing, no money limit is too much. If it's worth doing. And thank you to the people who have put this into the chat several times. If it's worth doing, no amount of money is too much. That's what she's about to tell us. I'm paraphrasing, but obviously Dunedin Hospital is not worth doing. Let's hear it.
The Military Style Academy and young serious offender legislation, and the total budget is $35 million in operating funding and $2 million in capital.
How do you defend that cost?
I defend that cost because we can't put a price on a young person's future, and we need to make sure that we
can't put a price on a young person's future. We can put a price on someone living in Dunedin who's got cancer. We can put a price on that, but we can't put a price on this. If it's a good cause, no money is too much. That's what she's saying. If it's for the right reason, no money is too much. Dunedin Hospital, go fuck yourselves. Shall we?
Absolutely correct statement. Yeah, there shouldn't be a cost on giving someone a good life. So, but boot camps is the best way to spend that money. No, absolutely no other way to spend it. This is the one proven. All evidence points towards this being a successful and the only way to do it. Yeah. Is that right? Is that correct, Karen?
Well, let's find out. Maybe
would you do a boot camp? Like I'm not talking about like a Les Mills pump class or something like that. Military style boot camp run by people that aren't in the military. $227,000. That is a shit deal.
There we go.
Tool.
How do you defend that cost?
I defend that cost because we can't put a price on a young person's future, and we need to make sure that we are doing everything we can to help them to thrive.
The legislation to establish boot camps permanently had its first reading at Parliament today. It passed, but sparked plenty of debate.
Māori do not want to participate in your rotten, useless boot camps.
When you say boot camps, they're called boot for a reason.
Interventions aren't working. Something different needs to be done. And this bill, Mr. Speaker, is to do something different.
The Children's Commissioner calling for the government to slow down.
I'm concerned that this bill has been introduced to the House without first taking the time to understand the evaluation from the Military Style Academy pilot.
The bill now headed to Select Committee. Mikey Sherman, One News.
So Karen, you've just explained, as I said, the quiet part out loud. So if you deem it valuable, no amount of money matters. Remember those ferries, those Nicky No Boats things? Yeah, we don't deem that valuable. We're going to can it even though we're going to be in a worse position afterwards. You know, people have Tararua, you know that road that's already been paid for? Yeah, we're going to charge it again because us covering that whole bill, it's not worth it. You're not worth our time. But if it's a worthy cause, no amount is too much, Chewy.